Right, good morning everyone. We hope you are all safe and well. Today we're going to show you a video of how we are going to reopen the school on the 1st of June. We're going to talk to you now about the drop-off, the pickups, and we're going to take you through a virtual tour of the school, looking at the classrooms. We're going to take you into the office and onto the playground. So there's a lot for you to look at here on how school is going to look on 1st of June and what our arrangements are going to be. Parents, we do ask that you watch this, you take this in, you share this with your children, because we are under very strict directions for the 1st of June onwards, and we have to adhere to social distancing and we have to get this right, so your full support is much appreciated. So the first thing will be, we now know which children have shown an interest to come back from the 1st of June. We have divided the children into groups, so they're not necessarily with children who they would normally be with in class. So we've named the group, so it won't be such things now as Mrs. Guy's class, Mrs. Dickerson's class. We've named the groups after inspirational people, famous people in the world. And on Tuesday you will get a parent information booklet with the name of your child's group, and that's the name that you'll have to give in as you approach the school. We have no choice on this, but we have to have staggered times for drop-off and for pick-up, and again we ask that you support us with this. We know there are some schools that are doing part-time, and there are some schools where children are in 1 or 2 days and not in others. Here we are open for 5 days for all the children, but the drop-off and pick-up time that you may be given is something that you're going to have to work with, because we cannot have mass congregation of children or parents. So Year 6, unfortunately, you're the ones who are out of bed earliest first, because you are going to be coming in. The first 2 groups are coming in at 8:20. Now you will have all these times given to you, so please, don't worry about that at the minute, but that's going to be the first group. So when you come in, as I've previously said, the back gate is not an option. It doesn't pass the risk assessment for the amount of space that we've got there, also for the general public. So everybody is going to need to come into the front gate here. If you are coming by car, you will need to park in one of the surrounding roads. After that, you'll need to manage your own social distancing as you work your way towards the front of the school. As you get here, you will see which year group is coming in first, and you can see on the 3PR sign that we are accepting Year 6 children first. 2 Year 6 groups will get 8:20 and 2 Year 6 groups will be 8:40. After that, we will work our way through the key workers, Year 1 and then the early years, so the times are going to be different. And what we're going to do now is show you how you will arrive, because when you walk in, parents, with your Year 6s, and I am guessing parents are going to be bringing Year 6 in on the first day just to see how things are looking, you'll be asked to be for which group your child is in. You don't know that at the minute, but you will do Tuesday. So we're going to do now, we've got some adults, some familiar faces, and some children who are in the key worker group who are going to help us out, so we're going to do that now. So first group, you walk over. Right, good morning Mrs. Broderick. Welcome back to Plumberow. Which group is Imogen in? Right, the Nelson Mandela group is the first line, please. The Nelson Mandela group goes all the way back in 12 yellow dots. Would you please stand at the first dot for the Nelson Mandela group? Thank you. We will then welcome our second family. A familiar face here, Mrs. Guy walking in with Thomas. Mrs. Guy, which group are you in?
With Nelson Mandela.
Right, Nelson Mandela group is the first line. Could you go to the second dot, keeping your social distance from Mrs. Broderick, please? Thank you. And that will continue for that group until all 12 yellow dots are filled. Now we know you're going to come in different orders, and the second Year 6 group is going to come in. That's why you need to tell us which group you are in. So the next family who come in, another familiar face, is actually in the second 8:20 Year 6 group. Miss Newman, Sean, which group are you in? In the William Shakespeare group. William Shakespeare group for Year 6 is the second line. Would you go to the first dot and stand to the far side of that dot, please? Keeping your social distance careful again for social distancing where they walk. So we've got one of our Ashington admin officers here with one of our Plumberow children. Mrs. Wallace, which group are you in?
William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare. Could you join the second line? You need to go to the second dot, but can you walk through the middle, please, so that you keep your distance apart from the two groups? And the second group, the second family, will do it as you've just seen there. And that is how we will set up. You will basically go back with each of the yellow dots staying in your line. Then what will happen, once we've got everybody in for the first 2 Year 6 groups, we will then ask you to come forward one family at a time. Again, we need your support and we need your cooperation with this, please. So once we know and we're ready to receive the first group, we will bring them forward. Mrs. Broderick, can you bring Imogen forward, please? Right, so you walk over as a family. When you reach the path, you stop. Mrs. Broderick, can you give Mrs. Imogen to Mrs. Turner, please? And Mrs. Turner
Morning,
will
Imogen.
welcome
Can you go and
Imogen.
stand over there on the dots?
And next week there will be 12 yellow dots, like on the car park. There will be 12 yellow dots running along the playground here, all 2 metres apart. Mrs. Turner will direct each of her group, or whoever the adult is, to those 12 dots as she's welcoming each child in. So Imogen would wait there, or whoever the child is, until the group is filled. As you can see, Mrs. Broderick has got 2 children with her because there's different drop-off times. At this point now, and with every family, you are not allowed parents past this path. You cannot go into the playground. The playground and inside the building are not accessible for parents. Another point I have to make, and you must again support us with this, parents, you are not allowed to be engaging with the teacher this bit other than a hello, and so on. We cannot take parent questions. You literally need to give us your child and then you need to leave straight away, please, via the pedestrian gate. There can be no congregating of parents. You cannot be engaging in conversations or waiting for friends. You literally, please, have to leave the site and take either your child with you if you have a younger one, or if you are just dropping off one child, you simply need to go for us. We will then repeat the process for all 12. So Mrs. Guy walking forward here. So the second family will do exactly the same. Thomas goes in to see Mrs. Turner. In you go, Thomas. And Mrs. Guy would leave. And Thomas would go to the second yellow dot. We then do that for the whole of the Nelson Mandela group. Once that group is gone, the teacher will take that group into school and start the school day. Once that group is gone and all the yellow dots are vacant again, we will then work on the second group. Once that group is done, Year 6 first 2 groups are in. We will then have plenty of time for the second group of Year 6s, which is the 8:40 slot, and we will do exactly the same process. We're now just going to show you what happens at the end of the day. Okay, so you know how the start of the day works now with the drop-off. We now need to talk you through the pick-up. And the pick-up is obviously different as well. So the groups that come in early, the 8:20 group, they will leave earliest as well. So the groups that are coming in later, they will leave later. We have to have staggered drop-off times again, which you'll be getting next week. So if the first group was about to leave, Mrs. Turner would bring her group over, and we're just using 2 examples of children here. So if it is the Year 6 group who are leaving first, this is how it will work for each of the groups. They will be brought over to the gate, and what we want you to do, parents, is that at your drop-off time, you would come back into the school just like you did in the morning, and you would go and stand at the line that you dropped your child off from. If you go back to that line, you will then be brought forward to release your child. So if the first child came up the line and their parents was in line at spot number 1, we would bring over, Mrs. Turner would call out the child's name, and their parents would come and meet them again on the path. This is the end of the school day, and then the family would leave on the path straight away turner will call out child number 2, and if that parent is not necessarily on the second dot, if they are on the 4th dot or the dot at the back, they would literally come out and round and come and meet their child, and this is the second child leaving for this particular group. So child walks forward, meets their parent, and then they leave as such. This process carries on then for the whole of that group, and then we do the second group that are leaving at that time, and the process is repeated for each of the leaving times. I hope that makes it clear. We have, as I say, no choice. This is the system we have to work with. We need your support with it, and I'm sure it will work absolutely fine. And anything that we need to sharpen up during the first week, we will do. But that is our plan for drop-off and pick-up. Any other questions, obviously, we can reply to via email or telephone call. But that's the drop-off and pick-up. We're now going to take you into the school building. Okay, we're now obviously in the front entrance of the school. Now we're going to keep this door locked. The school gates, once everyone in, will be locked, so there will be no access into the car park for any delivery drivers or any parents. You're going to have to phone in and tell us that you are outside, but the gates will be remaining closed. The staff are not using the car park. We are using Greenswood's car park at the bottom of the field. So this car park will be free, and it will be just our drop-off and pick-up point. So when you come in here, this is on a combination lock. So again, the children's safety is there. You'll see now that we're heading into the office. Going to show the children that things are still the same. Today is going to be done in school, in the classroom. So there will be packs, there will be individual asthma pumps, or anything that's pertinent to that child will be in the classroom. If the children need to come to the office for any other first aid reasons, then they will come here just like they normally do. Our office staff are working away here, and then we have 2 socially distanced chairs where the children will be placed. Other than that, normal service in here. Office staff will be able to answer emails, telephone calls, but as I repeating, there will be no access to parents coming into the front entrance of the school until further notice. Right, this is now a one-way corridor. So if the children come out of the office, or any staff members, they have to follow the arrows, which are again socially distanced 2 meters apart. This now becomes a one-way system, so that children are not crossing each other in the corridor, or children and adults are not crossing at any point. Right, year 6, we're going to go to your teaching base first. Year 6, you will not be on the top corridor at the moment, because we have to use classrooms that have external doors to create natural ventilation. Obviously up on the top corridor you've only got the windows, which don't offer enough. So year 6, you've been divided into 4 groups, and we are going to use what was Mr. Vaughan's classroom, Mrs. Bolton's, Mr. Alderman's and Mrs. Roberts' classrooms. The 4 groups will be taught in those 4 teaching areas. Anyone walking down here will see that the arrows will go right the way through down to the end of the corridor, and they're going to turn off right in a minute when I show you. So the first classroom will be through here, and if you're in this class, this is where you will come in the morning via the one-way system, and then you will be taught in there. I'm not going to show you every classroom because they're all set up the same, but we're going to look at one of the other year 6 bases down the corridor. If you are being taught in Mr. Vaughan's current classroom, then for the toilets, you will come down and use the toilets that are next to Mrs. Bolton's classroom. The group in that room, if you are going out for break and for lunch and at the end of the day, you will come down this corridor and you'll see that the arrows turn off to the right. You will head down there and you'll access the playground in that way. Following the arrows through, we have the second year 6 group who are going to be working in Mrs. Bolton's classroom. In here you're going to see now how the classrooms are set up throughout the school for key workers year 1 and year 6. We know it looks different, but again, this is the rules we have to follow. The desks have to be distanced. The children, if you're in here, you will work in your own personal space. The desk you work at will be yours and no one else will use that desk. The chair that you sit in will be yours, and again, nobody else, no one will be swapping chairs and someone else sitting in this seat. I've already said in the letters going home, we have a cleaner on site for 6 hours a day, from 8:30 until 2:30, continually cleaning all around the school and all the desks, all the different bases that we will be using. After school, we'll still have our normal cleaning hours. In that period, all the chairs and desks will be individually cleaned, so there will be no issue with that. It's just continual cleaning throughout the day and throughout the week. So you'll be spaced apart right here. Lessons will be going on with your teacher through the board, through any just normal tasks that you're doing, and you just have to be aware, of how much space that you've got to work in. At your base, there will be no use of the cloakroom areas, the coat area, peg areas anymore. At the moment, we are asking if it is a colder day and you bring in your coat that goes on the back of your chair. Your bag will go under your desk. With your bags, we ask that you do not bring personal things in from home. We don't want, toys in. We cannot have any equipment that is unnecessary. You literally need to bring your lunch in your bag, your reading books. When you bring reading books back, we will tell you on the first day what the system is for that, because we'll be having a tray for reading books to go in where they'll be then left and cleaned and left for a period of time. But your bag will be under here, your lunch box will be under here, and your drink bottle will be on the table. Bring your drink bottle as normal. Obviously, it's only you that can use it. The drink fountains will not be, the water fountains will not be accessible. We will be filling up jugs of water that you can top up your water bottles should you need it. So this is one of the rooms that we'll be using, and we're heading down the corridor now. Okay, so if you're in what is Mrs. Bolton's classroom, when you come out to access the playground for break time, lunchtime at the end of the day, you will come out of this door, and this will also be your route, as I say, at lunchtime as you go out. The toilets, if you're in here, will be the toilets next to the classroom, the same ones that the group are using if they are in Mr. Vaughan's classroom. Right, year 6, if you are working in Mr. Alderman's class or Mrs. Roberts' classroom, then you follow the arrows down. This at the moment is obviously housing the children who are in school, so none of these bags will be here once we're all set up. But in here you will do exactly the same. You'll work at your desk, you'll have a very similar approach, and if you're in this classroom, when you're leaving for break time, lunchtime, or at the end of the day, right, you will go out of that door there. So that will be your exit point. The toilets for both of these groups, you will use the playground toilets, and they will be yours. So they will be a different set of toilets than it is for the first two groups. So this will be the third year 6 group, and then this will be the fourth. We will show you how it looks in here. So again, a similar setup to how it was in Mrs. Bolton's class. There will be no individual stationary sets. These will all be removed. What is going to happen is you'll be given your tray, and in your tray you will have a zip wallet with everything you need in there. Ruler, pencils, pens, everything will be in your individual stationery pack, and you cannot share that stationery pack with anyone else. Other things like art brushes, paints and so on, you will have the use of that, and then they will be washed, so a little bit of a different approach there. Okay, so that's year 6. We're now going to go on to the playground. Right, so out on the playground, again, things are going to have to be different out here. The playground has been zoned into 4. You can see it here how we've done it. So year 6, you're going to get a zone each. You're going to get a box of resources each, and you are going to play in your group with your resources, and unfortunately there will be no mixing of groups and mixing of equipment. So 4 areas for each of our year 6s. The key worker children in year groups 2 to 5, you will also have one of these areas, but you will be out at a different time in year 6, and you will have different equipment. there, but your break time is going to be different to year 6. If you're in year 1, well, your play area is going to be somewhere different. That's where I'm going to take you in a little while, and the same for early years. So at the moment it's just going to be year 6 and the key worker children in years 2 to 5 who are using the playground. This will be for break, for lunchtime, and then our access at the end of the day for you to leave and obviously come in the morning. So that's the playground. We're now going off to the classroom that we're going to use for the year 2 to 5 children who are the children of the key workers. Okay, we're now headed into Mr. Hotton's classroom where the year 2 to 5 key worker children are going to be. You may have noticed that all the doors have been propped open. That's going to be right through the school now. We have to provide ventilation right through the building, as well as opening a lot of the external doors. The arrows for the one-way system continue, and they will go right the way round from here, right round to the office. So if you're working in Mr. Hotton's room, then you would come out here if you needed to get to the office, and then you would head round that way, and that's the flow system that we're going to use. So this is Mr. Hotton's room. And as I said, we're at the minute setting this up so that this is going to be the base. If you're in years 2 to 5, you will work here. Chosen one, this room, away from the year 6s, also has toilets, so you will be set up in here exactly the same way. You will have a tray, you'll have a zip wallet, you will have your own table, you will have your own chair, and you will work as a group here. So this is the key worker group. You will come in via that door in the morning. You will go out that door for break, for lunch at the end of the day, and you're going to have the zone at break time and lunchtime that is closest to your door. Right, from the key worker group, we're now heading to year 1. Right, welcome to one of the year 1 classrooms. Normally this is Miss Newman's classroom, and this will still be housing a year 1 group. We've got 3 year 1 groups returning on the 1st of June, and the 3 classes that we've used are this classroom, next door into Mrs. Pomeroy's room, and then the year 4 classroom, which is Mrs. Bailey's. We're using that one. The reason we're not using Mrs. Class and Mrs. Pilgrim's class is because then these 2 groups would be merging to use the toilets, and then we would be unable to keep the social distancing. So we're going to be using this classroom again, set up like we've shown you in year 6 and for the key workers. Own individual table, chair, tray, zip wallet once we've got all those in place. And you will be taught here if you are in this particular year 1 group. If you're in this group, obviously you won't mix with the children, be taught by adults who are in the other 2 year groups. So I'll take you through, because this group, if you are being taught in here, you will use the usual year 1 classrooms. Toilets, sorry, not classrooms, toilets. So you will use those toilets. In this room, Mrs. Pomeroy's room, we will have the 2nd of the year 1 groups, and you will use the toilets that are in Mrs. Pomeroy's classroom. And the benefit of using the year 4 classroom is that there are toilets here. So there are toilets for the 3rd year 1 group, and you will probably notice that we have changed the furniture around so that the tables and chairs are year 1 tables and chairs, and proper height for you, even though you're going to be in a year 4 group. Okay, so that's the inside. I'm going to take you outside now to show you year 1 where your play area is going to be. Right, year 1, your play area is going to be here. We're very fortunate that we can able to access this grass area here on Greenswood, the back of Greenswood's field, and we're going to be utilising this for your story time, your break, your lunch time. You can eat your lunch out here with the staff if you know if it's a really warm day. You're going to have, as I say, your creative learning time and your outdoor learning provision will take place here, and we can have this great area, this great space that's going to be able to cope with obviously all 3 groups, and you're going to have a real good amount of space in there to go play and learn. So that will be the area you are going to use, not the playground, and we will be unlocking and locking this gate every day. And thank you to Greenswood for allowing us this space, because this really helps. So year 1, your play area. We're now heading off to early years. Right, our last year group to talk about is early years. Now, early years, you are in 4 groups as well. The 3 reception classes that you normally are in, we're going to use those 3, but we need a 4th group to keep the numbers down to 12. And Mrs. Miles' Year 2 classroom is now going to be the 4th early years base for this period of time. So what we've done is we've set it out that allows that space. You'll see that we've set this table up, for example, as a number mathematical investigation table. The number of seats tell you how many children can work here at one time. We have a phonics-based activity table here, same process. There will be your creative activities, your art activities, your drawing tasks will be taking place in another area. We've got the small play, small world play, and role play will be a little bit different now because obviously we have to keep a lot of things away. You know, we're not allowed to use soft toys, and we're not allowed to have that sort of provision that we once had. Hopefully not for long, and then we can go back to it. There'll still be activities on the carpet where you'll be doing phonic activities from the board, and we'll give you an example up here of how that's going to look, where you're going to sit on the socially distanced spots. So 4 groups. The reason we're not going into the early years classrooms at the minute, because they are being cleaned next week. They're being fogged next week, because those rooms are where we've been using the key worker children, teaching them for the last 9-10 weeks. Right, your outdoor learning area. Well, just like the playground, we've had to divide it up into 4 for the 4 early years groups. And the tyres will show you where our areas are. So, Mrs. Miles' group classroom, the group working in there will be in this area here. And you'll each have your own, each group will have its own toys, your bikes, scooters and so on, your own equipments that we'll be keeping in your zone, and we'll be cleaning and sanitising throughout the day and at the end of the day. The second group will be working here and playing here. The third group will be this side of the tyres, and then there will be a 4th group just over here on that side of the tyres. It isn't set up at the minute, but the school field is going to be divided up as well. Early years, you will use this area for lunch, for break, for story time, snack time, anything like that. You're going to be contained here. I've already mentioned where early years are. For the key workers and year 5, you're going to have the field divided into 5 groups, and you will then have a play area each. And early years, just at the back of the classrooms, you're going to have a fenced off zone as well, should your teacher want to take you out onto the field as well. So you've got access at the front and at the back, and then the second half of the field will be where the year 6s are and the key workers, and it will all be zoned up and very clear to you once you've done it for one day. Okay, so that is the school. That's how we're going to set up the building, the drop off, the pick up. I'm going to go back inside now. I'm just going to do one final message to you. Okay, just to finish off then the video, I hope you found it useful and it's given you an idea of what the school is going to look like when we return, but also the arrangements, as I say, for the drop off and the pick up. We hope that you found that informative and that it'll help you on the day. We know that there's a lot of families who've still not made the decision. If you have changed your mind, could you please let the office know as soon as possible? I had a lot of emails from families who inquired, if I don't choose June the 1st, can we come back at a later date? Yes, you can. The only thing that will be with that is 2 things. We need to know as soon as possible. You can't just drop in on the day. And the second thing is we are going to work week to week. So if you're not coming on the 1st and you want to start the following week on the 8th, that is the only options we have, that you start on a Monday. We can't have children coming in on a Wednesday, Thursday for the first time, because that will change the dynamics of the groups and the numbers. So you do need to let us know, and please indicate what Monday you would like your child to start. So that's the sort of the formality side of things. From a our main point of view is we've really missed the children in the last 9-10 weeks. We know school is not going to be set up in the way that you know it and the way that we like it. We don't want the parents to not be on the playground and part of the morning and end of day regime, but we just have to follow these guidelines at the minute. We've been through an extremely strict risk assessment to get the school signed off and back open again, and we have very tight measures that we have to adhere to and follow. So you really do need to help us with that. A few other reminders: if your children are asked to do a PE activity during the week, we'll ask you to bring them in their kit, so there's no changing of uniform into kit. We know that not everyone may have multiple supplies of uniform, but we think it's important that that uniform stays and that you just do your best with it. We're not going to be awkward, if things are running low, but we do need your support with that. School dinners, just a reminder of that, there are no hot dinners at the minute due to lining up and queuing. So we are asking that the children bring a packed lunch. If you would like to buy a packed lunch, and obviously the year ones and early years are entitled to a packed lunch, just let us know on the day. But we do think, probably to start with, that the children are best if they're eating from your lunchbox at home, drinking from your drink bottles, and that would probably help us to get started. So we really want to see the children again. We have missed them dearly. It's been a time that we never envisaged would happen. We thank you all, mums, dads, everybody, and the children especially, for your support and all the hard work that you've done. But from both of us, myself and Mrs. Turner, we've just missed them massively, haven't we?
Yeah. Take care, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, so enjoy looking at the video. We'll see you soon. If it's not on the 1st of June at a later date, take care. But when you come back, we will be here to greet you, and Plumberow will carry on as it always done before. So take care, and we'll see you soon.